Hey guys, I wanted to film a video about the flooring that I have in my garage. This is my second house that I have owned, and my other house I wanted something on the floor, and I saw a product called Griot's Garage non-lift epoxy. I say non-lift in quotes because I did the proper steps. I treated the floor, I swept it, cleaned it, I put muriatic acid on that floor twice, and within 30 days of putting that product down, it lifted. I have some sticky tires, I guess the old BF Goodrich KDWs. I guess they're super sticky, I don't know, but I had them on the Corvette and the G8. Actually, I still have them on the front of the Corvette, but had them on the G8, and then you still see it on my SS. Those tires, I apparently got hot and you drive the car in and reactivated the thermal reaction within that product. And what would happen is I drive in and the epoxy actually stuck to the tires. So when we started designing and building our new house, I decided not to go with an epoxy because of, that took me a week to do. Like, I think I had to clean, muriatic acid etch the floor. That smells, it's toxic, it smells real bad. And, it just honestly was not a great product. So I've been looking. I'm on GarageJournal.com. It's a really good website on their forums. That website has all kinds of shop info and products to use and stuff like that. And I'd seen some garages with this flooring on it. My garage floor, it's actually not that clean. I see mud on it, but oh well. This is my real house, and real real dirt. So anyway, I had seen some shops on there that looked freaking awesome, they with their different design patterns, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I thought it was something different, and I had seen some different products. Gladiator actually sells their own version of this floor tile, but real expensive. Mine is from RaceDeck, and here's an example of the two different styles they sell. They sell the solid samples that I got here, and they also sell the grate, which is the rest of the floor. I didn't really like the solid because if you did happen to spill something, it's still going to get on the floor. Like you spill oil, spill gas, whatever, it's still just going to, be on the surface and then drain in between the cracks. So I was kind of like, not a super fan of that. And then I'd seen pictures of the drain pass-through, easy pass-through. That's not the right terminology, but I'll include the link in description below. And I had seen this product, and I was starting to like it. And so if you contact RaceDeck, they'll actually send you samples for free. I wanted the diamond tread pattern. I wasn't sure which design I wanted, so they sent me the diamond tread in 2 shades, and they sent me the drain through pattern as well. And they are that company is very responsive. I mean, I probably had 10 different correspondents with them trying to decide what style, what color, and what I wanted to go with. So here's the 2 different styles that RaceDeck sells. And seeing a sheet, seeing 1 or 2 samples of these tiles honestly didn't sell me. I went to the SEMA show last year, and I happened to see a whole, they had a whole display. And actually, a lot of the cars at the show actually had some type of RaceDeck product underneath it. Couldn't tell you how many, but also I'm a big fan of the American Le Mans series. Now it's called the Tudor series. Actually, it's been like that a couple of years, but anyway, the race teams, they use a similar product to RaceDeck. They may use Swiss Tracks. That's kind of the other manufacturer. And so that you got 2 different manufacturers of this. I have a sample of Swiss Tracks. It's over my other bay, but the Swiss Tracks, it is thicker and bigger. So these tiles would be, I think they're 14 by 14 and these are 12 by 12. So they're a little bit bigger and a little bit thicker. And to be honest, the price was a lot more. So for the similar product, I was okay with the RaceDeck. Anyway, so I was at the SEMA show, saw the display, really loved it, and ended up talking to their sales reps at SEMA, and they were doing what was it, like 20 or 25% off show special. And I was like, yeah, sign me up. So I ended up placing an order. You know, I didn't really place my order because I didn't have the garage size, but we came home from Las Vegas. I measured the garage, and I worked with the sales ladies, and you know, they have a calculator of how many tiles you're going to need. And I was pretty, with this design, I had made my decision of what I wanted. I wanted a 3-tone with a black outline, you know, surrounding the back, and then I wanted the blue and the gray. Some people do a checkerboard pattern. They do white, and you know, I knew this was going to be a shop that I'm not going to be vacuuming out or mopping the floor all the time. So I wanted something darker. That way the dirt kind of hides. Well, except for here, living in the Carolinas, we get this, our dirt isn't brown, it's orange. You can maybe see some of it, but anyway. So it does show a little bit of dirt, but all you gotta do is vacuum it or pressure wash it and call it a day. I had to work with the sales ladies because my garage is a little weird. Yes, it's a third bay, but it's connected. So I have this little opening between the two bays, and I had to get the proper spacing for all the tiles that I needed. I had, on the initial order, I had enough tiles except for the corners. You can see here how that's a, what, 1/10 of a tile. It's pretty thin. I had enough tiles to do the whole garage except for like the very trimming. So I ended up calling RaceDeck and ordered 10 more black tiles, 10 or 15. And these things aren't super expensive. I mean, I want to say it's $2.50 a tile, and shipping was free, something like that. You'd have to check their website because, you know, prices change. But anyway, the tile I really like. The trimming the edges was kind of a pain because I was using a jigsaw, and I really don't recommend using a jigsaw. Get a table saw with a wood blade in it, and you'll cut through these things like butter. Looking at this one, I think this one was cut with a jigsaw. Yeah, because it melted the edge and it got all kind of, you can see it got all kind of frayed. But anyway, yeah, use a saw and it cuts through like butter, and this, you know, it doesn't melt the plastic, it cuts it. So use a table saw to cut through this. It's pretty easy to do. The very edge of my garage has the edging. I didn't have a picture of that. And the edging is pretty simple. It just sits underneath the garage door, or the very edge of the garage door, and it gives you a little lip that you can pull up on, and that way there's not a huge gap, so you can just drive right up on and get into the garage. Now with my setup, I did have to do some creative trimming around the lift. I'll show you that right now. But actually I like it because the plate for my lift is probably, you can't really see that one. Well, you can kind of see it. This plate's probably 1/2 inch thick, and I was able to cut the tiles around the lift. So actually it's almost even. The tiles line up right with the lift, and I think it turned out pretty well. My only problem with this setup with the Max Jacks and the RaceDeck is the fact that if I try to pull up the Corvette, I have to use race ramps. You can see them up there. Those are their race ramps, weight scale ramps, mini ramps. And my car is so low that the arms actually won't fit under the lift. So what I have to do is I have to drive up what I used to do to my old shop with the epoxy floor was I would set both, all four of those, because I got four of them, in front of the tire, pull up, and that way I'd get enough room to swing the arms under the car. Well, that 3/8 to, not even 3/8, that 1/4 to 1/2 inch that the Max Jacks has raised the floor up, because I can't get the arms all over the floor. If you try to drive with the race ramps on the race deck, on my Corvette, I've got a 345 tire, so it's a 13+ inch wide tire in the back. If I try to drive up on it, it literally just spits them out the back. I don't know if that's, I saw one video where a guy was like doing a slip and slide on his race deck, but anyway, my car makes over 500 foot-pounds of torque, so I just pull up on the front now. I get my low profile racing jack, stick it under the rear subframe, raise it up, and then I stick the the race ramps underneath the tire, lower it back down, and then I can get the arms under the car. So, trade-offs, but hey, I'm pretty happy with the setup that I have. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just kind of going over some more tools in the shop, this, being a floor. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Please subscribe, and thank you.